I call this special board meeting to order for the sole purpose of approving and sending the necessary documents to LACO to get the funds in the checks of staff by August paycheck. It's a LACO deadline. So welcome, everyone. The time is 7:02 by my clock, by my phone. Let me just make sure I go right to order here. Closed session, there was no closed session. Open session call to order, I just did that. Mrs. Reuter is absent tonight because she is actually with her family on a Junior Olympics tour. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So let the record show that all board members are present except for Mrs. Reuter and the administrators on the dais here. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a nice summer evening out, and the Dodger game is going, so welcome to you. Adoption of the agenda. I need a motion, please, to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs.
Merkley.
Thank you. By Mrs. Merkley and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries. Report of action taken in closed session. There was no closed session, so no action was taken. Comments from members of the Board of Education. Mrs. Merkley.
I'm just excited to be here to approve the raises for the teachers, for the staff. I just think it has been a very, very difficult year and a half, and we are so grateful for all that you've done. And wish it could be more, but grateful that we could to give you something, let you know that we adore you. Thank you.
You know, I think when many of you decided to become a teacher, you wouldn't have thought of this happening. And all of the things that you have been asked to do, so many different things, right? Counselor, listener, tech support, changing the ways that you teach, changing the ways you engage, managing your own family. The number of challenges you have faced, I am just truly in awe and admiration and respect for the work that you have done this year. As somebody that has also taught in the classroom, it's been very trying, it's been very challenging. There's a lot of different things that have happened this year to each one of us. And I hope that despite, as Ms. Merkley has said, that we would have loved to have sort of contributed more, that this token from the district is a sign of our appreciation and our commitment to you as our staff. So with that, I just want to say thank you again for the work that you do to allowing our students to thrive, even in the most challenging situations. Thank you.
Mr. Ellenson?
I just want to thank the administrators for scheduling a special board meeting and not waiting until our next regularly scheduled board meeting to put this on the agenda so that we can do our part, so the union can do their part, and we can get this sent off to LACO for approval and processing. It's rare that we have an agreement this early before the start of school so that teachers go back to school knowing that this year you will have a compensation adjustment and not have to wonder for sometimes up to a year at a time for a retroactive agreement. So grateful to the union and to the administrators for negotiating this so timely so that we can do what we want to do, which is get it in place before school starts. And hopefully we get LACO to process this with this early, what I expect to be approval, and get the adjustment to paychecks as quickly as possible. So it's worth a summer board meeting, special board meeting to do this. Thank you.
Well, my colleagues have pretty much said it all. I just want to add that there is a process and it's followed by every district in LA County if there is a raise within a district, because LACO, LA County Office of Education, has deadlines. And if they don't receive the documents, you don't get paid in August. I also want to comment on the hero pay, which is 2% of your last year's salary for 2021, which I'm really ecstatic about because you are definitely heroes. And I encourage you to read the contract. If you haven't seen what's been posted in the board meeting agenda, I know it's 85 pages, but it's worth glancing over to see all of the criteria that goes into this, getting it off to LACO. And that's my comments. I would like to ask Dr. DeGracia if he would come up and speak a little bit about the process. Are you going to just do it from there?
Yeah, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Not at all.
Thank you, President Board, members of the Board of Trustees, Dr. De Leon, distinguished cabinet members, distinguished guests. Thank you for being here. I just want to take you through a few pieces. I know it's been referenced already. This is a LACO requirement in regards to the AB 1200, but attached to that are our tentative agreements that we ask for your approval of. Both bargaining units will go through their own approval processes. This is the board's approval process and processing of the tentative agreements. And so there are two of them, one for the Glendora Teachers Association and one for the California School Employees Association and its Glendora chapter. Our chapter here is 247. So both had some basic tenets of the same tenets of the agreement, and they had to do with what you've referenced. A 2% on-schedule salary increase effective July 1, 2021. 2% permanently added to the salary schedule. Then the retroactive one-time off-schedule bonus payment, sometimes referred to as hero pay. Certainly a thank you, a great big thank you, all capital letters with a bunch of exclamation points for sure, for everything that all of you did this past school year in preparation, leading up to the school year, throughout the school year, additional meetings, additional work, tech support, counselors, as everyone has acted in such capacities throughout this challenging school year. So thanks to all of our staff. So then in addition, we also negotiated as part of compensation related to benefits that there would be no increase to an employee's contribution. So there's 3 tiers to the agreement for both Glendora Teachers Association and CSEA. That's the 2% on schedule for July 1st, 2021, 2% retroactive payment, and then no increase to the benefits cost. And that does include all benefits. That's health, all forms of health benefits. So medical, dental, and vision are also included in that piece. Then there were one difference between CSEA for the 2% retroactive payment has to do with they will receive 2% or $1,000, whichever is greater, for their retroactive payment for 2020 and 21. So that was one difference between the two. And then we worked through several language additions and or revisions for the GTA and Glendora Teachers Association as part of contract language and conversations that we've had ongoing. Some were very minor word changes or revising a grammatical error that was there in the past with regards to hours. One, it was a clarification on time frame, when to be in attendance. Most sites clearly detail whether the certificated staff member is there at a 7:45 time or an 8 a.m. time. This just kind of firms that up. We will utilize a form to detail that for the future. A very small phrase in block scheduling to include the discussion of accreditation matters in their collaborative days. It's one of the topics that may be included in work during collaboration days. And then the addition of 4.11 talks about attendance at professional development days, and that is a professional responsibility and has always been meant to be. In the past, we did have a makeup day. That was held on a Saturday. There is no intent, I do want to be clear, there is no intent to have the makeup day on a Saturday. The makeup day or time, if someone does miss a professional development day, one of the designated 4 days throughout the year, then we will schedule something within the employee's workday to make that up. So that's how that will work.
Dr. DeGracia,
Yes.
can I interrupt you real fast?
Sure.
Those of you that are coming in, we still are under the mandate of the LA County Department of Public Health, and you do need to put on a mask. Okay, and Mrs. Cornelius has some if you need them. Thank you. Sorry, Dr.
No problem. Further, I'm actually close to being done. Further, there was some just clarification under the 5-year evaluation cycle about when a teacher returns from a 5-year cycle to a 2-year cycle. It was just a clarification, things that we've understood that have been happening. We just wanted to clarify the language. 5-year evaluation cycle is still an option for teachers that qualify under the criteria that's designated in the contract. But this was just a clarification about how a teacher will return to a 2-year in the event that administrator and/or teacher do not agree. And then the procedures for meeting for one's objectives at the beginning of the year. It just allows some flexibility for both teacher and administrator. And the deadline time frame will be October 15th to meet with temporary and probationary employees, or October 30th, a couple extra weeks to meet with permanent employees. And those were the only changes, revisions, and/or additions in contract language to the GTA contract.
Any questions by the board members? I just have one, Dr. DeGracia.
Sure.
Where might staff find this information?
All of this information was emailed out to all parties. We sent an email out to all certificated bargaining unit members upon signing of the tentative agreement by both parties at the end of June, near the end of June, on June 25th to be exact, and on just after June 28th for the California School Employees Association members and all classified employees in the district. So they all received it in their email, and if anybody needs an additional copy, they can just email me or their bargaining unit. They also have the official signed copy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Public input. I have one card. Rana El Youssef. Please.
Hello, is it on? You guys hear me? Everybody hear me? Okay. Can I take it off? Okay. I don't want to, mess up the rules. So I am the GTA treasurer, and I'm speaking on behalf of our GTA president, and I have a statement to read. It said, I would like to take a moment on behalf of the GTA Executive Board to thank the GTA and the district negotiation team and the school board for the tentative agreement that was signed on June 25th, 2021. We, as the GTA Exec Board, urge the school board to vote yes to ratify the agreement tonight. This year saw our members, all the district staff, and all the parents made an unprecedented effort to provide our students with the best educational experience we could, despite the restrictions placed on all of us by the nature of the pandemic. We were pleased to see the GTA and the district negotiation team recognize these efforts with both a hero pay and an increase to the pay scale. Likewise, we would like to recognize the GTA, CSEA, and the district committee members of the Insurance Benefits Committee for their time and effort to find solutions to bring down the ever-rising burden of healthcare costs. Each year for the past decade, this committee has been tasked with reviewing the bids brought to us by the insurance brokers to give input and try to find the best situation possible. It is a daunting task, and the insurance companies have increased their rates steadily for years. We appreciate that the GTA and the district negotiation teams agreed that the district will pick up the increase in premiums this year as we transition to a new option in the hopes that it will bring a better product and slow the rise of the premiums. By the district picking up this, our members will truly see their raises in their paychecks for the first time in several years. We also appreciate that the GTA and the district negotiation teams have continued to work through updating our contract language to meet the current requirements of the law and to set consistent dates for procedures within our district. We appreciate the continued work on this updating despite having to navigate the constant changes the pandemic wrought this past year. This effort to bring our contract up to date is critical and constant need. In conclusion, I want to express quite candidly that our work still continues. We need to see commitment to improving our compensation and benefits continue as we strive to become comparable and competitive with our neighboring districts to adequately compensate our unit members for their excellent work. And we appreciate that we are making positive strides, and we look forward to improvements in salary, health, and welfare, and working conditions for all of our members. Joanne Johnson, President of the Glendora Teachers Association. Thank you.
Thank you.
We move on to discussion action items. Under that, it's approve the AB 1200 and direct staff to adjust the appropriate account codes and update the 2021-2022 district budget. Approve a 2% one-time off-schedule payment to the 2020-2021 district budget. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved by Mrs. Merkley and seconded by Mr. Ellenson. Are there any comments at this time? Or
I have a
questions?
question.
Yes.
So with respect to the budget, I know that historically we were looking at multi-year projections that were showing chronic deficit spending and reserve depletion. And this year's budget, the business office did a fantastic job putting together a multi-year projection, obviously working with the union and staff on cuts and prioritizing spending to align with district goals. But it's a budget that turns deficit spending into chronic surplus and grows our reserves up to higher levels than they've been in quite a while. So first of all, thank you again to the business office for doing that. But with respect to this AB 1200 and the budget impact, I just wanted to confirm a couple of things. The 2% ongoing increase to compensation is likely to be the largest chunk of AB 1200. Was that factored into the budget and the multi-year projection that we approved last month?
Oopsies. Yes, it is. So when we prepared the budget, we included a projected 2% salary increase as well as the benefits on the 2021-22 budget. And of course, we rolled that forward into the multi-year projection as well.
So the increased cost of the benefits, because if I'm reading the tentative agreement correctly, with respect to insurance, historically, if there was an increase in rates from the providers, that increase in rate was borne by the employee, correct?
Correct.
So that if we had approved a raise for the employees, but also they were hit with increased insurance costs, that would sort of negate the pay raise.
Correct.
This time, the agreement is that if there's an increase in rates from the providers, the district will bear that cost?
That's correct. So
And
that
that's in
part,
the budget
that is
already?
not in the budget
Okay.
because we haven't gotten the full effect of how much the cost is, how much it will cost the district as far as the difference between what we're currently paying and what we have to pay for next year.
Okay. Are we waiting for the providers to get that information?
Dr. DeGracia.
I'll speak to that. Yeah, we're waiting for a little more detail from them to provide it, but it's estimated, and you will see it in my item as well, estimated to be just over 200,000. That's based upon the initial 5.5, 5.4, 5.5% projected increase. That's for Kaiser. Originally, Blue Shield was going to be about the same, so the simple pay, and we hope it's either that or less. If it's less for people, there's some people, depending on the plan that they take, employee plus one, or family, that they may actually pay even less than they have in the past.
And this agreement between the district and the unions is only with respect to the increase in cost and rates. It has nothing to do with who we're choosing as providers or the plans that we're offering, because I think the insurance committee is separately looking into potential changes in plans and providers.
That's correct. Those are two separate items. This focuses merely on the compensation.
So whatever plans or providers the insurance committee recommends and we approve at a later date, that's irrespective. This is increase in rates will be borne by the district?
That is correct.
Okay. And
I'm sorry, Mr. Allenson, just one question real fast, or to make it clear. The district's covering the difference between the current cost and anything that would be
The
inflated.
increases.
Or, yeah, the increases.
Yes.
I just want that to be clear. It's
Yes.
not the whole entire
Yes.
insurance bill.
Okay, and thank you, Dr. DeGrazia. And then, Mrs. Walzak, one more question. The one-time 2% sort of bonus pay for last year, can we use COVID funds to cover that?
Yes,
Okay.
we can use COVID funds to.
You can use
cover-
one-time COVID funds for this one-time expenditure?
Right.
Okay. That's all the questions I have on this item. Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Pardon me? Oh, thank you. Mrs. Merkley reminded me that I did speak with Mrs. Reuter before she got on her plane today, and she just wanted you to know basically what everyone has said tonight, that she's very in favor of these two proposals tonight because it's going to benefit our staff. Number 2, approve the implementation of the tentative agreements between the Glendora Unified School District and GTA CSEA Glendora Chapter Number 247 and unrepresented confidential and management employees.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved by Dr. Fernando and seconded by Mrs. Merkley. Any discussion on this one?
I have one question.
Yes, Mr. Allenson.
I think this is for Dr. DeGrazia. So I know we have to do our approval today, so the administrators need board approval before you can sign the tentative agreement, and then the unions need their membership approval before they can sign the agreement? What is their process?
They can sign their tentative agreements as they've done here on June 25th and June 28th, respectively. So those are signed tentative agreements. All parties have recommended ratification of approval of these agreements with their associations, and then they take them to a vote separately with their members. I do believe that GTA's vote is going on this week, and it has several days to complete or commence and then finish. So that will happen in due time, and then once those ratifications have become official, then we can work with LACO to process such increases.
And what happens if, for example, GTA doesn't approve?
Then we would look at each association separately. If one was approved and one wasn't, we can move forward with the one that was approved or not. And if not, we go back to the negotiations table with that bargaining unit.
To come up with a tentative agreement?
Yeah, another tentative agreement. Yep.
Understood, thank you. That's all.
Anyone else?
I have a question
Sure.
along with that. Part of the agreement that we wanted to get it done this now was because those who retired could get the heroes pay. Is that correct? There was a time limit?
It included people that worked this year. CSEA had part of their agreement that they had to be employed prior to March 1st to be eligible for their 2% retroactive agreement.
So if they don't approve...
That was part of the negotiation as to who is eligible is also part of the negotiation. So we would have to have that new conversation.
So if they
Something
don't
like that.
approve it, would the ones who retired lose out on?
Not necessarily. It would be part of conversation and negotiations to have that discussion and to see kind of where we are.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? An 85-page document, but it brings us to the end of our meeting. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Ellenson and second by Dr. Fernando. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Meeting adjourned, 7:26.